So today, less than 24 hours after the polls have closed, one thing is certain: change is coming.
So when will that change happen and how will it be paid for? Voters seem to have signaled they want Portland's government radically altered. Katu's Eric Mock took those questions directly to city leaders in charge of this transition. Eric, what did they tell you?
You know, they said this is going to cost millions of dollars both to transition into and to keep it going after that. Now, how many millions? They said that's hard to pinpoint. The City of Portland transition team estimates that changing Portland's form of government will cost anywhere from $4 to $6 million per year over the next 3 years. Then it's going to cost an additional $900,000 to $8.7 million per year to fund the new 12-commissioner government. You probably notice that's a big discrepancy in that estimate.
The big fluctuation in cost is due to decisions related to staffing size for the new 12 council offices. So the decisions for that will probably take place, I would think, in 2023 or 2024 at the latest.
That's the city's budget director, Jessica Kennard. I asked her how the city will pay for these changes. Is the transition fully funded? And then is there any indication of, when the new government takes seat in 2025, where the extra funds for that will come from?
That's a good question. So right now, no funding has been allocated for the transition or the ongoing costs. Transition costs are one-time in nature. We have one-time funds available right now as a result of our general fund contingency and funds that were left over from last year as excess balance. So the council could earmark the funding that is needed.
Now, she says not all of that money is needed up front, so council could spread it out over the 3-year transition. Kennard said she's going to recommend they set aside as much as possible now, though. As for the additional funds needed I asked about,
we will need to identify that as part of our annual budget development process.
Kennard says if they can't find the funding in other resources, they're going to have to shuffle some things around in the 2025 budget to find it. Now, like you heard her say, though, it could be well into 2023 or even 2024 before we find out how much more it's going to cost to do this new form of government.
Yeah, right. We know some outlets are calling this one, but our best analysis is that there are still a few 100,000 plus ballots, or roughly about 200,000 ballots left to be counted, and that is solely in the Tri-County area. This is why that's important. Multnomah and Washington counties are leaning towards Tina Kotek. Clackamas County favors Christine Drazen. Here are the latest numbers from the county's elections offices. Washington County, as of this afternoon, told us it has about 80,000 ballots left to count. Multnomah County says it's got 50,000, but that does not include mail-in ballots, which at least 10,000 arrived today in that county. And as for Clackamas County, they've also got roughly 80,000 still to process. So we've got more than 100,000 ballots from counties leaning blue and 80,000 from Clackamas, which leans red. Drazen has been trailing by about 2% for most of the day, but we did get this new statement from her team. They say they're closely monitoring the results, and they are expecting this race to tighten. We have yet to see another statement from her today. Kotek's team has not pushed anything out today. Last night, both were eager for more results to come in. Drazen seemed more confident the end result would be in her favor.
For now, we need to respect the process. We need to wait. Every vote counts. Every vote must be counted. And so it looks like we might be waiting a while before things are official.
We knew this was going to be a close race, and it turns out it is. But we know that when the results are all counted and all of the results are in, that we will, in fact, lead Oregon in a new direction.
Now, we are expecting a plethora of new updates to drop in the next few hours as counties release updated numbers tonight. We'll keep a close eye on that. Steve, right, Jim, what is your reaction to this? Specifically you, Jim, all those ballots left to be counted.
Well, the key thing is we're still not quite sure how many there are in the rest of the state. There are a lot of counties where Drazen did well. Deschutes County, Jackson County, places like that. Unknown there, and also Lane County, good for Kotek. And so putting all those together, there's a lot of uncertainty still as we're trying to figure this out. But right now, if the patterns hold, Kotek will be the next governor. But if there's a wave of Democratic or Republican votes, which we have seen in the primary and in the 2020 election, if there's a wave of Republican votes, it's good for Drazen. We just have to wait and see.
Because there are some folks calling this race right now, as you know, but you're not doing that at this point.
No, I'm not doing that. I don't have their certainty. And part of it is history. 4 years ago, on the day of the election, 500,000 ballots came in. Right now, the assumption seems to be that about half that number came in on that last day. That would be a stunning difference. I was anticipating there'd be 500,000, 400,000 coming in, but it looks like we might be at 200, 250,000. All of a sudden, that means that it's a lot more certain who will win now, but we got to wait and see how many ballots are still out there.
Ballots are counted today. Elections offices say they have procedures in place to ensure ballots are being counted accurately and securely. During an audit, elections officials perform a hand count to compare the voting system's results. And this morning, the Clark County Elections Office hand counted 600 ballots for the U.S. Senate race. Greg Kimsey, the Clark County auditor over there, says historically audits have not found any discrepancies, and the same goes for today. The process is open to observers.
The observers are just such an important part of this entire process. They really serve as the transparency for the for the organizations specifically, but the public in general. And yeah, we've had a dramatic increase in the number of observers who are coming into the office during the elections.